So help now is available in what we've already announced. So the £1 billion household support fund is there with local authorities to help individual hardship cases. The increase in the national living wage has already taken effect. There will be a further change in July, changing some of the thresholds around national insurance to try and assist some people.
Let's break that down.
£1 billion household support fund.
The Office for Budget Responsibility points out that's left in the shade by a £12 billion fall in the real value of benefits in 2022-23. That's because the Chancellor has raised benefits and pensions by a paltry 3.1%, whilst inflation could top out at 9 or 10%.
The increase in the national living wage.
Last October, the Office for Budget Responsibility found that average real wages will be lower in 2026 than they were in 2008. Don't just take my word for it.
And the upshot is that come 2026, that's the end of this kind of projection period, you're still talking about real wages being the same, maybe even a tiny bit lower than they were in 2008.
Changing some of the thresholds around national insurance.
Your government's just hiked taxes for workers to their highest level in 70 years. Don't just take my word for it.
So in 2 years, you've raised taxes the same amount as Gordon Brown did in 10 years.
And here's the Chancellor himself.
You accept that the tax burden is now up?
Yes.
The Institute for Fiscal Studies says any tax-cutting measures in the Chancellor's spring statement were outweighed by tax rises.
Changes to the taper rate on universal credit.
The government's just cut universal credit by £1,000 a year, just as families face soaring rises in food, energy costs and fuel. The policy the minister's talking about only applies to the 40% of people receiving the benefit who are actually in work. It won't make a blind bit of difference to the remaining 60%. That's 5.3 million claimants who aren't in work.
Further £200 rebate coming later this year.
In fact, the £200 energy rebate, that is effectively a loan, isn't it?
Well, it is.